His proconsul mandate coming to an end, the Senate, furious, wanted him to come back to Rome to be judge. But Caesar knew that if he would get back to Rome, he would have been forced to commit suicide. Something he wasn't ready for. That's why on January 11th, 49 BC, Caesar took his troops to the borders of Italy and Gaul, delimited by a simple river named the Rubicon. You have to realize that for all military generals of Rome, it is prohibited to cross a river. That's why arrived at the feet of the Rubicon, he looked at his men and said,
Milites habemus tu electionis. Primum, tacite diditionem accipere, or second, pugna fortiter.
He gave them the choice to follow him, knowing if they did, they would have to fight against the Senate and Pompey.
Non quid stant aliqui ex vobis scimecium veniunta.
With his troops, they went directly to Rome, and the more they get closer to Rome, the more Pompey's allies escape the city, afraid. Pompey decided to go towards the east, to fight Caesar in a field where he will have the advantage. The ultimate battle went on in Pharsalia, in Greece. In numerical advantage, Pompey probably thought that he would get rid of Caesar quickly, but during the combat, his men probably remembered what they heard on Caesar's conquest of Gaul, because they started to panic. Caesar's legions won against Pompey's, and he ran away to hide and get help in Egypt. Caesar knew that Pompey would be there, since he had an alliance with the pharaoh in place. So he set sail on the Nile. As soon as he arrived, he went straight for Ptolemy's 13th palace, where he is welcomed with the most horrible present possible: the head of Pompey. Horrified, he looked away and is said to have dropped some tears. Ptolemy and his counselors came to the conclusion that they didn't want Caesar as an enemy, so they decided to kill Pompey, to force Caesar to create an alliance with them to help in their civil war in Egypt. But Caesar, wanting to go back in Rome, was captured by Ptolemy and kept in the capital, Alexandria, in the place the pharaoh imprisoned him. After a bit of time, he decided to help the royal family with their conflict. He summoned Cleopatra, Ptolemy's older sister, to Alexandria, but she couldn't get there because of the risks of getting captured by her brother. Short after, Caesar received a gift sent from Cleopatra brought by her servant. He was able to see a very big carpet rolled on itself. When he accepted to receive the gift, the queen's servant put it on the ground and pushed it towards him to make it unroll, and revealed Cleopatra that was hiding in it. She seduced him instantly, and they created an alliance. Ptolemy, realizing what happened between Caesar and his sister, considered her as a traitor and declared war to Caesar. Despite his troops being very low, he won the battle, but he had to put his fleet on fire for it not to be captured. But the fire grew and sadly reached the legendary Library of Alexandria, who caught up in fire. After the victory, he put Cleopatra on Egypt's throne. He decided to stay in Egypt for 2 more months on the side of Cleopatra, where he discovered the country and their culture. Intrigued, he asked himself how the different dynasties of pharaohs had lasted in time for so long. That's where he came to the conclusion that this is a unique political regime that works. Like the French historian Paul Marius-Martin said, ce qui est sorti de la rencontre de ces deux monstres sacrés, c'est l'idée d'un empire. In 47 BC, he's forced to go in Asia to reconquer lands that were already conquered by Rome, but the son of the king who ruled his land before Rome tried to take back the power. 4 days and a couple hours later, Caesar settled it and said a sentence that became famous: Veni, vidi, vici. He then finished his trip and went back to Rome. Back in Rome, Caesar put an end to the civil war and attempted to change the way of doing things on a political level to try to reduce the inequalities and the unfairness of the different levels of the Roman society. He built the Julia Basilica, place for meetings, market, groceries, banks, and Roman administrations in his honor right in front of the Senate. He redistributed lands and improved the lives of the less fortunate. The Romans got attached to him. He celebrated his last victories and conquests with the ultimate reward for a general, the Roman triumph. During the celebrations, he invited Cleopatra to Rome, where she presented to the Senate, Rome, and Caesar, Ptolemy Caesarion, their son. Caesar made sure the Senate elected him as dictator for life. But always filled with ambition and wanting more, he tried to become king. The only title the Senate and the population weren't ready to give him. It's taboo, and this is the exact reason of why he wanted the title. He showed his power while acting like a king. He built the Caesar Forum, where resided the Temple of Venus, and a new siege where he moved the Senate right in front of the Caesar Forum. The last straw for the senators, after many dubious decisions, happened on a religious holiday. Ceremonial priest Mark Antony, best friend and a right arm of Caesar, attempted to put a crown on the head of Caesar in front of the population that started to insult and attack them. After a moment, Caesar, still with the arms of Mark Antony above his head, pushed back the crown, understanding Rome wasn't ready for a comeback of monarchy, despite the fact that Caesar is literally king of Rome without having the official title. This failed attempt of coronation alerted his political enemies at the Senate, who realized they needed to do something about it as soon as possible to prevent a return of the monarchy. A conspiracy started to be organized. But to make Rome forget about that event and also try to gain more power, he started to organize a conquest of Parthia. But the conspiracy was growing faster. On March 14th, 44 BC, he had a nightmare in which the god Jupiter shook his hand. His wife also had a nightmare in which her husband was killed. On the next day, she told it to Caesar, begging him to not go to the Senate, and he chose to listen to her. But the son of his favorite mistress, Brutus, and a Senate member, also part of the conspiracy, convinced him to change idea, and he decided to go to the Senate. For some reason, the Senate decided that the meeting was going to happen in a room of the Campus Martius, built by Pompey and also having his name. He entered the Senate, and the senators, being part of the conspiracy, started their plan. A senator came to him to ask about something Caesar already addressed and refused, but the senator didn't stop getting closer until he grabbed Caesar's toga, which prevented him to move. That's the moment where the other conspirators jumped on him to stab him 22 times. Seconds later, his gaze met the eyes of Brutus, che se me cremo, and Brutus gave him the 23rd and final stab. Caesar fell at the feet of Pompey's statue, where he died a couple minutes later. Caesar's death started a new civil war in Roman capital, which lasted from 44 BC to 27 BC. At the end of it, his adopted son, Octavius, became Augustus, the first emperor of the newborn Roman Empire. And all of the senators that were part of the conspiracy against Caesar were killed one by one. Conspirators wanted the Republic to remain, but they established the empire.